Personal brand in the application process to a United States university. Hi there, my name is Maria Gurjeva. I'm the founder of Studyamerica, and we help international students from all over the world get accepted to top US universities. In this video, let's talk about the personal part of your application, which is extremely important in order to get accepted to a top US university. Let's talk about your personal brand and how to build it. Let's go. A quite unique feature of the admissions process to the United States is that it not only considers your academic achievements, but also considers your personal achievements and your personality in general. And it's quite unique because in most other countries, they only consider your test scores and your grades from school or from your university. In the United States, the big emphasis is put on your personality and your personal parts of the application. It is also called holistic review. Holistic review means that they consider both parts, the academic part and the personal part of your application. They also consider your circumstances in which you lived. For example, if you lived in a country that doesn't have the international bachelorette or some AP classes, or you didn't study in a very prestigious school, then it doesn't mean that you're less qualified for admissions than a person who studied in an international school and had all these AP classes, credits and stuff like that. They also consider which family you're from and did you have the resources that other people from rich families had. And they basically consider your personality in the surrounding that you had and what kind of opportunities you had and how much you use those opportunities, which is quite beneficial because in other countries they don't do that. They just compare everybody equally. Here, the holistic review means that they put a lot of emphasis on your personality and also a lot of emphasis on where you lived, how you studied, and what kind of opportunities you had and how you used those opportunities. So it's nice because they actually pay attention to those things. Part of holistic review also includes that personality might somewhat compensate some lack of good grades or lower test results, because if your personality is great, if the things that you went through are amazing, and if you're very brilliant in terms of your personality, then they might consider you even if your grades are lower than the grades of other students, other prospective students that are also applying with you. So this is also a great thing in the application process, and this is what I really love about American education, that they put a lot of emphasis on your personality and that your personality matters, not only your numbers matter. So if you want to know that, to know all the steps that you need to take in order to get accepted to a top US university, check out my masterclass where I talk about all of that. The masterclass is completely free. I will talk about how to guarantee yourself acceptance to top US universities. I will share my own experience of getting accepted to Columbia University, which is an Ivy League school, and I will share a lot of cases how my students also got accepted to top US universities, what was their secret and what they did. Definitely don't miss my free masterclass. The link is in the description. So that is why we need to build a very strong personal brand when we go through the application process to the United States, and we need to understand how to present your personality in the best way possible. They consider your personality from many documents. They pay a lot of attention on your essay, and you need to actually write a lot of essays during your application process, because you need to write separate essays to each university that you're applying to. And the essays are the most important part of your application. It can compensate your lower grades and test results, and it also gives the best outlook on your personality. This is the place where we can show and shine. That is why it's extremely important to work very, very well on your essays and to actually make it a masterpiece. That is why a lot of people work on their essays for 4 months, for 5 months, which is completely normal, and they rewrite those essays and improve them 5 or 6 or 7 times until they get that masterpiece where every word is in the right place, where there are no words that shouldn't be included in there, and the essay itself just gives such a great perspective on your personality that the admissions committee, when they read it, they don't have a choice. They have to take you. This is the goal for writing your application essays. If you're applying to bachelor's program, then in your essay you need to show that you're matured, that you went through some events that build your character, and that your personality is ready to study in the United States in a university, and you can actually bring that personality to campus, and that would be a benefit for everybody on campus. So we need to look for a story that shows all of that. We need to be looking for stories. We need to show your character through stories. And this is quite an interesting thing and experience to go through because you have to take the last 4 years of your life and consider which events and which stories will show and let your character shine in those stories. And that's a cool thing to do, because you go through the process of reevaluating your past and actually examining your character and personality, and see it's a lot of self-exploration in that process, and a lot of people go through this process and end up being different people because they did so much of the evaluation, and they actually found a story that make them shine and that actually can help them get accepted to a top US university. If you're applying to a master program or MBA or PhD, it's different. You need to write an essay about your past experience and your goals, and why you're like this program, why you consider this specific program, and how this program will help you in the future to reach your further goals. So this essay is more structured, it's not a lot about storytelling and the obstacles that you overcame. It's more about your goals and how the education will help you fulfill those goals, and your past experience that kind of took you to this point of life where you need that education. So these essays are somewhat easier to write than the bachelor's essays, but they're also extremely important, and just overall the essays are the most important in your application process. That is why it's extremely important to pay a lot of attention to them. But the essays is not the only part of the application that matters and that builds your personal brand. In the bachelor's admissions process, you also need to show your activities, you also need to provide your recommendation letters, and you also need to provide other parts of your application. So you fill your honors, you fill your activities, there are certain texts that you need to write under each activity. So some things that build your personality overall. Essays are the most important part, but they also consider your recommendations, which can give a lot of insight on your personality. They also consider your activities and how those activities complement your personality overall. And they also consider sometimes your interview, and an interview can also provide an outline of your personality. And in the master's program or PhD or MBA, it's somewhat similar. But instead of activities, you mostly show your resume and what you did. Some universities also require you to show your activities. There are also recommendation letters that can provide a good insight on your personality. And there are quite often the interviews, which also give them an idea of who you are. It's important to build that brand, and in order to build that brand, you need to start early. Well, definitely the earlier you start, the more success rate you have in order to apply to an American university, because you need to do a lot of things: prepare for exams, improve your grades, but also one of the things that you can do is start early and consider which universities require which values, which universities are looking for which students, and then kind of improve your overall experience, start new activities, maybe improve your work experience. And in order to apply and get accepted to a university and build that brand, you start early and you plan that. You have a strategy, what you will do in order to improve your application, in order to build your personal brand. So you still got time. You still can go for some activities. You can still go and improve your relationships with your recommenders. And this is part of building the personal brand, and it's important to have a strategy. And an important part of this whole thing is actually studying universities. Especially it is important on the master's, PhD, and MBA programs, where you apply to a certain program, and this certain program can lead you to different results. For example, some programs are looking looking for people who are going to work in corporate. Some people are looking for prospective students who are going in the end to work in nonprofit organizations or to build their own business or other things. Some programs are more theoretical, some programs are more practical. And different universities have completely different values of who they are looking for. Some universities are more competitive. They have the competitive culture. Some universities are cooperative, so they are looking for people who can collaborate with other people. And it's important to learn what they're looking for and then build a brand that suits that expectations. Starting with building a strategy, actually finding the right universities and understanding what they're looking for, and then build the brand that suits those expectations is extremely important. And in order to do that, you need to follow specific steps. In my program, where I teach how to apply to American universities, this is what we do. We first start with the strategy, then we look for the universities, and this is not just a random order of things. It's important to start with strategy, to look for universities, and then start preparing for exams, because you have more time to build your brand and to understand what everybody is looking for. If you like this video, please press the like button and share your comments, and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in applying to the United States, because there are a lot of very useful videos about how to do it, about different aspects of the application process. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on my free masterclass and in the next videos. Bye bye!